The alien hunt begins. The jungle of planet Krastor was hot, wet, and alive with dangerous sounds. The trees were tall like towers, their roots like giant snakes. Everything here wanted to bite, sting, or kill. For most beings, this place meant certain death. But not for Princess Thala. Thala stood tall and proud, wearing her silver battlesuit. Her glowing purple skin shimmered under the twin suns. She was not just a princess, she was a hunter, a leader, and a scientist. Today, she had one goal: witness the legendary Drakkar beast, the apex predator of this wild planet. The beast was said to be unstoppable. Sharp fangs, armored scales, claws that could rip metal, and speed faster than any hovercraft. It ruled this world, and even the bravest warriors feared it. Thala's team of elite alien scouts moved quietly behind her. Their boots crunched leaves and soft bones on the forest floor. Suddenly, one of them, Sergeant Vyrek, froze. "Princess," Vyrek said in a low voice, "there's smoke." From that hill, Thala narrowed her golden eyes. Smoke? Here? No. Intelligent species lived on this planet. Carefully, they crept up the slope, blasters ready. The smell of burning meat and spices floated in the air. Something was cooking. Then they saw it. A clearing opened ahead. In the middle stood a rough wooden structure. A fire burned at its center, with long sticks holding up slabs of roasted meat. Bones were scattered on the ground. But that wasn't the shocking part. Sitting on a flat rock, relaxed and shirtless, was a human. Yes, a real human male. His skin was tanned, his arms strong, and his face full of calm confidence. He was chewing slowly on a roasted chunk of meat. Thala's breath caught in her throat. She looked around. Just behind the human lay the corpse of a massive beast, covered in dark green scales. Its jaws were huge, its claws still twitched slightly in death. The Drakkar beast. The human had killed it. The team raised their weapons in fear and confusion, but the man didn't flinch. Instead, he looked up, smiled, and said, "Hey there, you guys hungry?" Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Thala stepped forward, her voice sharp. "You killed this creature? Alone?" The man nodded and tore off another piece of meat. "Yeah, nasty one too. Came at me during breakfast, didn't even let me finish my coffee." Thala's hands trembled. "You ate it?" "Of course," the man said casually. "Wasted meats. A crime, ain't it? Name's Logan, by the way." One of her guards whispered, "This is blasphemy." Drakkar beasts were considered sacred by many alien species. To even touch one was forbidden. To eat one was unthinkable. Logan looked around at their horrified faces and laughed. "Relax. It's not poisoned. Tastes like spicy chicken, actually. Want some?" Thala stepped closer, her boots crunching on bones. "You're human. What are you doing here?" "Crash landed," Logan said with a shrug. "Been surviving here a few weeks. These big lizards like to chase me, but I chase them back." Thala stared at the fire, at the massive dead predator, and then back at this strange, calm man. "You killed the top predator of this planet. Do you know what that means?" Logan chuckled and wiped his hands on a leaf. "Means I won lunch." Behind her, one of the guards murmured, "This is not a normal human." Thala nodded slowly. Something about Logan was off. He wasn't just surviving. He was thriving. No fear. No hesitation. He had done what no warrior in her empire could. And now, he was offering her a piece of its roasted flesh like it was no big deal. Thala took a step back, still trying to process everything. The jungle behind them growled again, another beast watching. But Logan didn't seem to care. Instead, he looked up at the suns and said, "So, what brings royalty to my backyard?" The team stayed silent. But Thala knew this was just the beginning. This human, this predator of predators, was going to change everything. He eats what? Thala could not sleep. Even back inside her protective dome shelter, with guards all around and jungle shields active, her mind kept returning to that human, Logan, a predator of predators. who cooked sacred meat like it was street food. Her culture believed that the Drakkar beast spirit cursed any being who dared eat it. Her ancestors would scream in horror if they knew what she'd witnessed today. But what disturbed her most was that delicious smell. She had inhaled it. That smoky, rich roasted scent still clung to her nose. Her stomach growled loudly. "Impossible," she muttered. "It's not even edible. It's sinful." At dawn, Thala returned to the humans' camp. She told herself it was for investigation, for security, but deep inside she needed answers. Real ones. Not just what her scrolls and elders taught. Logan was still there. Shirtless again. Barefoot. His body scarred, dirty, wild, but calm. He was skinning another Drakkar. Smaller this time. She almost vomited. "You're eating another one?" He looked up and smiled like she'd asked if the sun had risen. "Well, it attacked me again during my morning pee. Bad timing for him." "You didn't just kill it. You're going to cook it?" "Why wouldn't I?" he said, raising an eyebrow. "You think I'm going to eat it raw?" She blinked, trying to control her temper. "Do you understand what that beast is to us?" He tossed her a dry cloth. "I understand it tried to eat me. That kinda makes it my lunch." Thala sat, arms crossed, trying to look powerful, but also trying to hide her hunger. That smell again, it was worse now. Or better. Then, it happened. Logan sliced off a tender, steaming piece of meat, placed it on a flat stone, added some alien salt he'd collected, and turned toward her. "Try it." Her guards gasped behind her. Even the trees seemed to shudder. "You want me to eat cursed flesh?" He shrugged. "You ever die from eating a steak? It's a sacred animal." He leaned closer. "Then it must taste divine." She slapped the meat away. "I am not like you." He looked her dead in the eyes. "You're right. You're starving." Her cheeks flushed dark purple. How dare he say that? But her stomach betrayed her again, growling loud enough to echo. Logan stood, wiped his hands, and walked toward his small water filter. "Listen, Princess Sparkle." "Thala. My name is Princess Thala of the House of Kalor." "Cool, I'm Logan, House of Crashed Ship and no backup." She almost laughed. "Almost," he continued, serious this time. "You think I'm some monster, I get it. But I didn't kill these things for fun. I had to. And yeah, I ate them, because that's what humans do when they're stuck in killer jungles." "Even sacred beasts?" she whispered. He nodded slowly. "If it's got teeth and tries to eat me, I'm not going to cry when I roast it." She looked at him. Really, looked this time. His body had bite marks, claw scars, burns, like this planet had tried to kill him 100 times, and each time he fought back. Logan wasn't just surviving, he was conquering. Thala stood and turned, heart racing. "You're insane," she said quietly. "Maybe," he replied, poking at the fire. "But I'm still alive. You're welcome to join me at dinner. Just bring your own spices." She didn't reply. But as she walked back to camp, her mind screamed and her mouth watered. That night, she dreamt of meat. The predator slayer Thala was watching him again. From the tall ridge above the jungle, she tracked Logan through her visor lenses. He moved through the deadly forest like he was out for a morning stroll. No armor, no weapons in hand. Just that annoying human smirk and a broken machete strapped to his back. No fear, no caution, no backup. And yet, everything in the jungle avoided him. It was wrong. Back on her world, warriors trained 10 years to survive in soft forests. Here, even her elite guards sweated in panic. Yet Logan had built a bamboo shelter, booby-trapped, an acre, and even taught a squirrel-like creature to bring him fruit. He called it Steve. Steve was currently riding on Logan's shoulder, chewing a nut. "Impossible," Thala whispered. "He's not trained. He's not evolved for this planet. He's not even wearing shoes." But still, he was thriving. Suddenly, a loud rustle came from the bushes. Thala adjusted her scanner. The reading flashed red. Drakkar-class hunter. Size, 6 meters, Speed, 78 kph. Status, charging. Logan, look out. She shouted through the communicator. Too late. The beast burst through the leaves like a missile, black scales, glowing red eyes, and a mouth wide enough to swallow a car. Thala's heart stopped, but Logan didn't move. He reached calmly behind him and yanked a sharpened tree branch from the ground. The next moments were chaos. The Drakkar lunged. Logan rolled beneath it. The beast roared and spun. Logan climbed its back like a rodeo star, holding onto the spine. Then, crack. He drove the stake deep into its neck. The Drakkar screamed, thrashing. Blood sprayed across the ferns. One final twist, and the monster fell. Hard. Dead before it. Could roar again. Silence. Thala's entire team, hidden nearby, stared in shock. One of them whispered, He killed it with a stick. Another muttered, He rides them, he rides apex predators. Thala just blinked. She'd never seen anything like this. Logan wiped his face with a leaf and waved up at her. You okay up there, princess? Thala flew down, boots landing beside the beast's head. Its massive eye stared lifeless into the sky. You didn't even break a sweat, she said. He shrugged. Cardio helps. And Drakkars, big, dumb, and weak in the neck. Took me a few tries to figure that out. You've done this before? Logan pointed at a pile of skulls. That's Larry, Bonnie, Steve Sr., and Carl. She stared at him, speechless. You named them? They tried to kill me. Least I can do is remember their names. You killed 5 of them, alone? He grinned. Well, one of them tripped on my trap and broke his own neck. Does that count? She shook her head in disbelief. Back at base camp that night, Thala sat with her guards in silence. They had watched many brave warriors fall in test arenas. They had studied apex predators their entire lives. But Logan? He fought like he was part of the jungle. No hesitation, no rituals, no fear, just instinct and brutality. He's more predator than prey, Vyrek said. No, Thala whispered. He's something else. Later, Thala stood outside Logan's hut. She could hear the sound of him singing some strange earth song about barbecue sauce while gutting the Drakkar. She cleared her throat. Why do you live like this, Logan? Poked his head out. Because I don't have a 5-star hotel nearby. I mean it. You act like you belong here. He stepped out, arms folded, wearing a necklace made of Drakkar teeth. I adapt. That's what humans do best. You all look at this place and see danger. I look at it and see dinner. She looked into his eyes. No madness, no bloodlust, just experience, maybe even wisdom. You're not a soldier, she said slowly. Nope. Then what are you? He smiled again, calm and easy. I'm just a guy who really, really hates being eaten. And somehow, that made perfect sense. Secrets of the human body. The rain on Krastor fell like falling stones, heavy, hot, and endless. Princess Thala stood beneath a bioshield, watching Logan through the semi-transparent glow. He was in the open, soaked to the bone, shirtless again, crouching near his hut. His back was turned and blood was dripping from a wound on his shoulder. He didn't call for help. He didn't even flinch. Just quiet humming. A human song. Something about a highway to danger. Thala narrowed her eyes. Why doesn't he feel pain? She stepped out into the rain without telling her guards. Logan was sitting cross-legged with a small fire between his knees. The flames sputtered in the rain, protected by a handmade stone ring. He held a metal needle in one hand and a piece of bone as a tool in the other. Without any anesthetic, he was stitching his own shoulder. The gash was deep, torn by the Drakkar's claw from earlier. But his face was calm, focused. Thala froze behind a tree. She meant to walk up, but stayed hidden instead. She couldn't help it. Something about watching him like this felt personal, sacred. Logan's body was different up close. Not just muscular, not just scarred, marked. His entire back was a canvas of wounds turned symbols, claw scars, burn patterns, healed bite lines, and strange small symbols inked into his skin. Not alien tattoos, Human, numbers, names, tiny words like survive, forgive nothing, and dawn comes bloody. She felt something shift in her chest. This wasn't just a reckless savage, this was a man carved by pain, and still smiling. Suddenly, Logan spoke without turning. You just gonna stare, princess? Or do you want to help me tie this knot? She stepped forward, flustered. I was just observing, he smirked. You aliens do love to watch. She knelt beside him and tried to hide her blush. Your shoulder is infected. You should have asked for medical help. You all think I'm your prisoner or some zoo exhibit. Didn't seem like help was on the table. She opened her med kit and pulled out a sterilizing gel. Hold still. He flinched for the first time when it touched the wound. Oh, now you feel pain? She teased. He smiled through gritted teeth. It stings because I trust you. That's always more dangerous. She paused. His words felt heavier than they should have. As she cleaned the wound, her fingers brushed his skin. Rough, sunburnt, solid, like a tree's bark. She traced an old scar running down his ribcage. This one? Spear gun. Underwater ambush. This? Thermal blast from a faulty engine. She touched a dent on his forearm. Broke my own bone to escape a cave-in, he said casually. Thala stared at him. Why are you still alive? He chuckled. Good question. I ask myself that every morning. She finished dressing the wound but didn't move. You're more than what I expected from a human, she said softly. Thanks. Most aliens either call us filthy apes or dangerous meatbags. You're surprisingly polite. Thala hesitated. Back on my homeworld, warriors wear scars with pride, but you carry too many. It's like the universe is trying to erase you and you refuse to let it. Logan looked at her for a long moment, eyes unreadable. Then he whispered, maybe that's all I am. A leftover. But to her, he was something else. A puzzle her Galaxy didn't have a name for. Suddenly a loud roar echoed through the jungle. Another Drakkar. Logan stood slowly, grabbed his spear, and stretched his still bleeding arm. Stay here, princess. Let me show you what a leftover can do. And just like that, he disappeared into the darkness, limping, bleeding, and fearless. Thala stared after him, heart pounding. For the first time in her life, she worried for someone not of her kind, and deep inside, a dangerous thought whispered in her mind. He's not just surviving this world, he belongs to it. And maybe I'm beginning to belong to him. Feast of the Forbidden. The palace ship Kalor's Wrath hovered in orbit above Krastor like a silent moon, glowing with royal energy. Inside its shining halls, a storm was building. Thala stood before the High Council, 12 elder aliens, robed in shimmering golden green, eyes glowing with judgment. Beside them floated the preserved skull of a Drakkar beast, displayed like a sacred relic. The human must die, one of the elders said coldly. He defiled the sacred predator. He devoured our protector. Thala's jaw tightened. He saved my life, she replied. Twice. That does not erase the sin. It was survival. It was blasphemy. Her fist clenched. She thought of Logan's laughter, his crude jokes, the way he faced death like it was a dance. He had no idea that his meal had triggered an interstellar outrage. He did not know our customs, she argued. He acted out of instinct. And now his instinct demands punishment, the councilman snapped. This is not just about a beast, this is about who we are. Meanwhile, down on the planet, Logan was roasting another piece of meat. He didn't know his actions had made him a criminal in the stars. He didn't even know Thala had been summoned. All he knew was, this one tasted better than the last. Maybe it's the berries I used, he muttered to himself, flipping the meat. Steve the jungle squirrel chirped in agreement. Suddenly the sky darkened. A massive royal shuttle descended, engines hissing. Logan stood, holding his sharpened bone fork. Let me guess, he muttered. Not a pizza delivery. Thala marched down the ramp of the shuttle, her royal armor glinting. She didn't meet his eyes. "What's up, princess?" Logan asked, grinning. "Logan," she said, voice hard. "You are under arrest." He blinked. "For what? Killing a lizard trying to eat me?" "For killing a sacred creature, for eating it, for offending an entire empire." Logan looked down at the half-eaten meat in his hand, then back at her. "You're serious?" "My people want your head." "Well, at least they don't want the rest of me, that's nice." She didn't smile. Logan lowered his weapon. "Are you going to do it?" Thala said nothing. He stepped forward slowly. "You know I didn't do this to insult anyone. I was just trying to stay alive. Isn't that worth something?" "It's not about survival anymore," she whispered. "It's about tradition, legacy, belief." He nodded. "And you believe I deserve to die?" Thala's voice cracked. "I don't know what I believe anymore." Later, Logan stood in a glowing containment field on the royal ship. No shackles, no pain, but no freedom either. He stared at the alien stars beyond the glass. They weren't his. They never were. Thala entered quietly. She looked tired, torn, like a woman at war with herself. "I fought for you," she said softly. "They won't execute you, but you'll be exiled to a cold moon. No visitors, no contact, no fire." He didn't answer. She stepped closer. "Say something." He turned to her, expression unreadable. "Tell me one thing," he said. "If you had crashed here, starving, alone, and a monster came at you, would you have just let it kill you for the sake of someone else's rules?" Thala's lips parted, but no words came, because in her heart, she knew she would have done the same. Maybe worse. That night, as Logan was escorted to the shuttle, he stopped beside the old Drakkar skull in the hall. He stared at it, then whispered, "Still think you tasted better than chicken?" One of the guards gasped. "Thala!" Nearly smiled. As the doors closed behind him, her heart ached. But deep down, she knew this wasn't the end of Logan's story. This was just the galaxy's first taste of the real apex predator. Heretic or hero? The Grand Hall of Judgment was silent. 12 High elders of the Kalor Empire floated above their golden thrones, cold and unmoving. Their faces were hidden behind emotionless masks carved from moonstone. Alien nobles watched from glowing balconies. The chamber was massive, with polished crystal floors reflecting the stars above, and in the center stood one barefoot human. Logan, dressed in a simple brown robe, hands unchained, face calm, but eyes sharp. Beside him, Princess Thala stood tall, but her heart pounded like war drums. The head elder's voice echoed through the chamber. "Logan of Earth, you are accused of the greatest cultural violation in our history. You consumed the sacred predator, desecrated its remains, and mocked our beliefs." Logan raised one eyebrow. "I mocked nothing. I was hungry." A quiet murmur spread through the crowd. Thala took a step forward. "He didn't know. He was stranded, alone. He fought to survive without knowledge of our customs," the elder replied. "But he refused to apologize." "I'm not sorry," Logan said clearly. "Because I did what I had to do." Gasps echoed. One elder leaned forward. "Would you do it again?" Logan smiled faintly. "If it means staying alive." "Absolutely," another elder boomed. "Then you are a heretic. You admit to your crime." "I admit to being human," Logan said. "Which means I don't give up. I don't roll over and die because some rule book says the thing trying to eat me is holy." The room trembled with outrage. Alien nobles hissed. A guard raised his weapon. "Enough!" Thala shouted. All turned to her. "You call him a heretic, but he is a survivor. He didn't just kill the beast, he faced it, fought it, studied it. He knows it better than any of us." She pulled a glowing crystal from her robe and tossed it into the air. A 3D hologram flickered to life. Logan's personal map of Krastor, filled with marked trails, hunting zones, and Drakkar nests. Gasps again. He mapped the entire jungle in 3 weeks, she said. He created traps we couldn't detect. He built defenses using only jungle scraps. He defeated what we worship and offered to teach us how. Logan looked over at her, surprised. You did that? He asked softly. Thala didn't look at him. She faced the council. You fear him because he breaks your understanding of power, but maybe it's time we stop fearing and start learning. Silence. Then, slowly the head elder lowered his hood. He was ancient, eyes dim with time, voice like the wind before a storm. Perhaps tradition has blinded us. Perhaps this predator in human skin is the key to surviving a world even our ancestors feared. Logan blinked. Wait. Are you saying I'm not being exiled? The elder gave a small nod. You will not be punished. You will be used. Murmurs turned to roars. Thala stepped closer to Logan. They want you to train a survival force. Teach our warriors how to fight the jungle. Logan smirked. So I went from heretic to instructor? That's a hell of a promotion. After the judgment. Logan walked alone through the crystal corridor of the palace. Thala joined him silently. You know, he said, I've been called many things. Monster, savage, idiot, but never valuable asset to the Empire. That's new, Thala chuckled quietly. Don't let it go to your head. They stopped at a window, staring at the glowing jungle below. You changed them, she said. Logan looked at her. No, you did. Their eyes met, and something unspoken passed between them. Not just respect, something closer. Far below, on Krestor, a new roar shook the jungle. Another Drakkar, bigger, stronger, unseen until now. Logan's eyes narrowed. Looks like training starts tomorrow. He cracked his knuckles. Let's teach your empire how humans really hunt. The apex among us, the jungle wasn't silent anymore. It watched. From the shadows of its towering trees to the vines slithering like serpents, the planet Krestor felt different. Not because the beast had changed, but because the hunter had, and now he wasn't hunting alone. Logan stood at the center of a massive clearing surrounded by the best alien warriors the Kalor Empire had ever trained. Their armor shimmered, their spears crackled with bioenergy. But their eyes were locked on him, the barefoot human with scars instead of medals. In front of them stood a captured Drakkar, caged, furious, muscles pulsing beneath its scaled skin. Logan circled the beast slowly. This thing doesn't care about your ranks, your robes, or your rituals, he said. It only understands one language, survival. He turned to the warriors. You want to defeat it? Then stop thinking like nobles. Start thinking like me. A warrior raised a clawed hand. And how does a human think? Logan smiled. Easy. We don't worship predators, we become them. On a high cliff above the field, Princess Thala watched the training session unfold. She had seen miracles in her life. Sky cities, planet cores, even time-fold ships. But nothing amazed her more than this. A human teaching aliens how to hunt their own gods. She whispered into her communicator. Council members, are you seeing this? The reply crackled in. Yes, and we are rewriting our scrolls as we speak. That night the jungle roared again. But this time it wasn't a beast. It was Logan. Running full speed into the dark, 20 warriors at his back. Thala flew overhead in a hover glider, providing aerial eyes. Her heart pounded. The great Alpha, Drakkar, the largest ever recorded, had emerged from the deep jungle. Its arrival had snapped trees like twigs and crushed 3 scout drones in seconds. It was death incarnate. But Logan didn't slow. The battle was chaos, screams, fire, roars. Trees falling like matchsticks. The Alpha Drakkar was larger than a tank. But Logan's trap net, woven from 10 trees and sharpened stones, snagged one of its legs. He shouted, now! Thala fired from above. Warriors rushed from both sides. One alien was caught and thrown 20 feet, but Logan was already there. pulling them to safety. He climbed the beast again, his favorite move, and drove a spear into its spine. The monster shrieked, and then it fell, dead, again. Logan stood victorious. Silence returned to the jungle, the kind that comes only after a storm. The warriors gathered around the massive corpse. One of them whispered, "He's not a man." Another muttered, "He's something more." Thala landed beside him. "You did it again," she said. Logan wiped blood from his face. "Team effort this time," she smiled. "Don't be humble now. You trained that team." He looked at the Drakkar corpse and then at her. "Funny, isn't it? First I was a criminal for killing one of these. Now I'm the Empire's head coach," she chuckled. "You're more than that." He raised an eyebrow. "Oh? You're a symbol now?" Logan groaned. "Please, no statues. I'm terrible at standing still." She stepped closer, her voice softer. "You gave us more than skills. You gave us courage to question, to grow, to adapt." He looked into her eyes. "And what did you learn?" Thala smiled. "That sometimes the real apex predator is the one who refuses to give up. Who fights, not because he's strong, but because he must." They stood in silence as the suns rose over the jungle, and somewhere the trees whispered a new truth. The jungle still had teeth. But now, so did they. And the deadliest one among them was human.